Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Dan Cathan. Thanks so much for joining me. So today I would like to talk to you about how to actually get leads for your creative business. Okay. How to get business in the door. And I know it's very difficult. There's a lot of things out there of how to do it. And there is a lot of ways to do it. There's no one way fits all, right? There's no one size fits all. But I think that there's a few that really work for me and the few that I've seen work for clients and people that I know. So this is kind of my thing to help you. Now, it may not be for you if you are just starting out, you have no idea what you're doing, you don't have a business established, and you don't have anything really, and you're just like, I don't even know what, I want to start a business, but I don't really know how. This video may not be for you, and that's okay. I probably will or have tons of other videos that could help you. But right now I'm talking about how to get clients for an existing business or one that's pretty established or has something at all. Like you're not just starting. But even if you are just starting, I just want to say, maybe this will help you to know about how to do it, because you could potentially like just start here and you might get clients. And it's kind of my philosophy, actually. Part of my philosophy is go out and get business before you even know what you're doing. Like that's what I did starting out. I started when I was like 19 and I'd been making videos for over 10 years at that point. And it wasn't necessarily my passion, but it was my skill set. That's what I was good at. And I spent a lot of time doing it. And then people kept asking me to do it. And I didn't even really want to do it. Like people wanted me to be the historian for the club in high school. I didn't really want to do it. And then I got to college and the same kind of thing over and over again. And, I liked it, but I wasn't like, I wouldn't consider it my passion at that point until people, started saying, well, obviously Kathman's going to do it. Obviously Dan's going to do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't want to do this. And eventually I did. And then I was trying to start a business and I wanted to, and I was like, you know what? I bet I could make money doing this. And so my first thing was, but I've been doing it for a while, my first thing was, how do I get business? And I saw an opportunity and I went to go after it, and that's how it started. And it worked. And that may have been more of like finding a hole in the market at that particular time. They didn't last for about a couple of years. But so I want to give you a few tips on how to get leads in the door, how to get business that actually really work. So probably a great recent book on this that I like a lot if you guys want some books to read or whatever. Alex Hormozi, if you follow him and know him, his book on, which was it, $100 million leads, I believe it was, and all the ways to get a lead is really fantastic. And it really kind of simplifies, the things that I've done and seen. I'm like, yeah, that's really all the ways that you can get a lead. There's 4 different ways that he describes, and I'll just say what he says because it's a lot more simpler than what I would say. It's cold outreach, warm outreach, content, and paid ads. Kind of the 4 ways that you can get anybody to know about your thing. I would say there's other ones, but they can kind of be in the ballpark of some of those 4, right? So like in-person networking, kind of like warm outreach, or maybe you don't know them at all and it's completely new area. So it might be kind of cold outreach, just in person. So it might be in-person cold outreach, going knocking on doors, going to shake hands you don't know. Or maybe in-person warm outreach when you're in a networking group and you're talking to them and you're reaching out and you kind of know them or someone introduced you to them. That's warm outreach. It's just in person. So I think actually they can all kind of be distilled. Even content, like he says, content is one. I'm like, well, what about billboards? Well, that's content in real life. That's traditional media. Content on TV is content. Content on Netflix is content. It's content on social media is content. So it kind of is content in magazines is content. That's literally what they call it. So it kind of is like all content. And then it's paid ads. Well, people think social media ads. Well, what about TV ads? What about paid billboards? What about paid, ads and all the, yes, all that. What about paying to get into the newsletter of, exactly, paid. What about paying to get in the newspaper? Exactly. Like even that is paid ads. So it kind of is all in the same ballpark. And then the other aspect of that, which I don't have the book here, but I don't really remember all of them, but there are also 4 different people that you can get to help you get business. And they may do one of those 4 things. And they're like employees, your customers, affiliates, and somebody else. And the reason why I bring that one up is because one of the best ways that I have gotten business over the years is this affiliate thing. Okay. So let me try to explain this. Affiliate, it's not like affiliate marketing. It's like, They are businesses that have your clientele, or maybe your ideal customer is their ideal customer, but you guys do different things. But their business relies on them, on your ideal customer to survive. And your business provides your ideal customer with something that they don't provide. Okay. So let me give you an example. Let's say you are a headshot photographer. Probably one of the best things that you can do, especially if you are, let's say you are in the acting space or modeling space, you want to get into those kind of headshots and photography, which I was in. The best way that will really help you get the leads and get the business is to find the affiliate companies that need you. And if you can guess who that would be acting agencies. So acting agencies have actors. Your clients as a headshot photographer for actors are actors or models. So they're a company. They're not a photography company. They're an agency that tries to book them jobs. To get those jobs, they need these high-end headshots. So if you can get in the door with some of these agencies and they refer you to their clients, then you have made an affiliate. They have these warm leads within their small net community, in which warm leads are the best leads because that means you know them or someone knows you, knows them somehow. It's pretty usually can really be solid for closing the deal as those warm leads. And then they continually sell you and your services because it helps their business, because it helps their clients. So that's a great relationship to have. And that's an affiliate, an association with a company. And so say you get one of these that are good, they may throw you business all day and you don't got to do any marketing. I'll give you another example. Let's say you are a wedding photographer or video creator. I've told several of my friends, and hopefully they're watching this video, that they want to grow their wedding business. And I said, I know exactly how. And it's so stupid that you're not doing it. And they don't do it. I mean, I don't want to give names, but I know someone very personally who did this, who I've worked with, and they gave me the play-by-play of what they did. And I was like, yeah, that makes total sense with what I've done. If you are a wedding videographer and you're trying to figure out how to get weddings, you may think, like, I need to go find brides. Or I need to go find groomsmen. I need to go find people who are getting married. I need to, I got to do X, Y, Z and all this stuff, right? The best way, and also the other thing is, let's say you're not being able to charge enough, right? Let's say you're like, I'm still super cheap and I can't charge what I want to charge. Okay. So the problem is your clients aren't who you really want. They don't have the money, right? To afford that. So you got to go to higher end clients. Where do you find them? And it's all the same answer. The best way for a wedding videographer or photographer to get business consistently is to find a person or business that they can associate with that would do the selling for them. And you're like, wow, that seems like unrealistic. Someone's going to sell for me? Do I got to pay them? Potentially. But no, oftentimes, no, you don't, because it's just a big part of their business. So what I would do, I don't want to do it because I don't want another business. And it's a lot of headache for me. But a lot of my friends, when I do it and I tell them what to do, they just don't do it. I'm like, why don't you guys do this? My friend, I'm not going to give him, but like that did this. And he had 50 weddings a year. 50. That's a wedding nearly every weekend. Sometimes, obviously, it's not every weekend, but it's like sometimes 2 to 3 this week, all the time. How did he do this? I'm telling you, it was an associate. It was an affiliate company. What he did was he found a wedding planner who did higher end weddings and then did everything he could to get in good with that person. And that person sold his services all the time. It's important to understand like how this works, because if you don't understand your customer, then you wouldn't even know how to do this, right? So you got to really understand your customer. So I know a lot of the higher end, I know people who spend tons of money for a wedding, right? And I know how and where they are at and how they go about their process, right? So it's really about understanding your customer. And so the reason why you're having these low end, let's keep with this example, wedding shoots is because you're dealing directly with a groom and bride and groom all the time. And you're like, I'm looking for groomsmen, I'm looking for brides, and I'm trying to get in with them, right? Well, that's why you're probably on these lower end weddings, because if you're dealing directly with them almost all the time, then a lot of times, oftentimes, they have a lower budget, because the ones with higher budgets, and hear me when I say this, the people with the higher budgets hire a wedding planner almost always. So you would be either referred by the wedding planner, or the wedding planner would contact you directly. That's how the higher end ones do. And how do you find these higher end wedding planners? Well, you know what? You know what makes sense is if you go to the higher end venues. So you know that if they're at this hotel on the beach that's really nice, where they have weddings a lot of the times, that venue costs a lot. And you may not know that, but you should, because your target audience definitely knows that. That venue costs a lot. So they have to have 20 G's for the venue alone, or whatever it is. So they're already up here. And then they got to pay for all the decor and all this stuff. They're already up. And the catering. And they're definitely going to want this filmed and photographed. And they're dealing with a wedding planner. And so oftentimes they may go to the venue first. A bride may go to the venue first, or they may find the wedding planner first. So they go to the venue first, and the venue might prefer a wedding planner that they work with. So you go to that venue, you find out who the wedding planner are, the ones they recommend, and then you pitch and try everything you can to sell them. Like, get on their good side, buy them candy, send them stuff, make content for them, like send them a note, send them your stuff, like give them a call, try to meet up with them, see whatever you can do to try to, because they will be your biggest selling point. You won't have to do anything if you get in with good ones, because they have 50 or 60 weddings a year, and so will you most likely, because a bride in that kind of price point will really default to the wedding planner. And the wedding planner may give them like 3 options, like a tiered option, and you'll probably be one of them. And that's how you do it. And you don't got to do. My buddy who did this, 50 weddings a year, 0 advertising. Zero. Gusek, Gus, zero, hazara, 2 zeros, no money on marketing or advertising at all. For client acquisition was 0. It was the money came from the time to get that affiliate, who then pitched him to their warm leads and got him all the business they needed. I know bigger companies, I know a company for a fact that is doing about 50 million a year with 200 people, a nationwide company, that their entire client acquisition model is getting in with these affiliate partners. I don't want to give names exactly, but I listened in and found out, because I'm been an entrepreneur my whole life. And so I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, that's all they do. That's almost all they do. That is their thing. That is what they do. They find these people and they make partnerships with these people, and there is a kickback to those people. But when this company gets their ideal customer coming in, they pitch them, and then if they close, and they get a kickback. So their whole business model is trying to convince, literally wine and dine these like affiliate companies to get them to say yes and do a contract with them where they're the ones that they refer. I'm telling you, it's like, it's all around, buddy. That's it. That's literally all you have to do in some circumstances. So that's one that absolutely works for the photographer, for the wedding photographer, for the headshot photographer, for the big, huge company that I can't really talk about, but they're doing over $50 million a year and have 200 people. Like, it works. Okay. I can make that's like a whole video right there. So, another one would be, I think people misunderstand also like social media content. I think that is a huge misconception, because I don't have enough time in this video to really dive into it. Maybe I might dive into it later on in another video, but I'll try to explain it quickly here. A couple things. One, if your goal is to grow your business, then views are not your indicator of success. Views are almost never the indicator for success, unless you're trying to go viral, unless that's part of your business model is to get money from views. Then of course, if you want to be one of the biggest creators of all time, then yeah, you're going to need to make viral content on a regular basis for sure. You want to be Dude Perfect, you want to be Mr. Beast, you're going to have to go for views, and that is your goal. And that's fine. And that's great. I love it. I would love that, but if your goal is to grow your business, whatever that may be, or grow a business that maybe you don't have yet, maybe you want to build out, you want to sell books, or you want to sell an online service, or, you want to sell a product, or you want to build out a different business for you in your personal brand. You want to build out, whatever it might be. You might want to do it so you can get deals with companies so you can pitch them and, user-generated content, whatever it is. Or you want to parlay that into your actual business to draw attention and awareness for that, whatever it may be. But if you're doing that kind of realm, then it's more about, who is watching rather than, how many. How do I explain this simply? Okay, I'll give you an example. I had a video get 24 likes, and that video got me to the final stages of pitching to a CEO of a company to do a monthly retainer for a pretty significant company because someone who worked there saw it. And then we DM'd, and then that led to that. I got all the way to the pitch and to the CEO, all the way. From one video, they got less than 20 likes. I mean, I don't know how many views, a couple hundred maybe, okay? So that's what I'm saying. Like that led to business. I didn't close. That's on me. The lead generating part worked, and the same thing has happened to me several times. I mean, I just had somebody recently who is now a client and we're working on their stuff right now who we got on a phone call that he DM'd me and he was asking for something, and the phone call led to something much more than what I thought it'd be. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't even know this. He said, yeah, man, I've been following you for a year. I haven't said anything, haven't DM'd you, haven't commented, haven't liked, haven't done anything. But when this opportunity came up with my company, I was like, I know who I want if I can get him. I want Dan Kaufman. So that's content marketing works. It just takes time. Now, so my argument is it's just the right people. And you may not know that for a while. So yes, you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to try to figure yourself out. I'm still figuring myself out in my content and what I'm doing. I think I got a pretty clear picture now, but I mean, I'm doing it for a long time, and because it takes like time of like, well, do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? Do I need to go this direction? Do I need to do that? Do I need to split off and do this? And how does this all make sense? Who am I selling to? What am I offering? What am I doing? What value am I giving? Like, should I do it over here? Should I do this? It's all the time until you get more and more clear because you do more and more work and you start learning and you educating yourself, and it does take time. And so that means trying and failing and doing the at-bats and until you start to really refine and understand what you're doing and who you are and what value you give to the world. It's going to take time. And even when you're doing it successfully, it's still going to take time. So I think that's something that you can do today, something you can do tomorrow, and hopefully you can do it over and over again. And then once you do kind of figure out that, you realize like, oh, this is the ticket. This is the answer. I got it here. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I like doing. And then, honestly, with just a little bit, I mean, this is kind of again, I don't have a lot of time here. I don't want to make this too terribly long, but you can get people just from videos even not doing that well. But then also on the back end, this is the big thing, is that this is what I do all the time. And this is what I'm going to start doing more of, is if you have some sort of something, whether it's your personal brand or your business page, I would start thinking about your personal brand too, but business page or whatever, you have enough on there, kind of like a website. You have enough on there where now you can make like a little pitch deck. If you don't know what a pitch deck or a media kit is, look it up. You can use like sites like Canva or whatever to make them, but you can come up with a little like media kit, kind of give your value, and then think about different companies or brands you want to go after. And then you can pitch them directly privately and using this as like, hey, well, I'm making stuff. And instead of pitching yourself as an influencer, pitch yourself as a creator, kind of like a company making an ad for them. A lot of them will say, yeah, this sounds great, especially if you do it in a way that's like personalized to them. Like you kind of look them up and you're like, hey, I noticed you're trying to sell this and do this. Here's my idea. This is what I think. Here's my media kit. Let me know if you guys want to jump on a call. And that's what people don't see behind closed doors. It's happening, especially on social media. I mean, you'd be amazed. I'm in a viral coaching program right now. You'd be amazed. I've seen, on the presentations and stuff, I'm seeing this stuff. I'm like, oh my God. You'd be amazed about how many are making their money from doing this exact thing. Like they are approaching brands in private. They don't have a large following. A lot of them under 5,000 followers or less. And they're basically just have their little media kit and they have an idea for different brands. They're approaching them kind of like we would, like cold outreach, DMing them, whatever, emailing them, whatever, and just like pitching an idea. Like, hey, here's this. And then it's like $5,000, $10,000, sometimes $20,000. And then if they have a following, if you have like viewership and you have like a large following, whatever, that number can go crank right up. But if you pitch it to them like that, then they can then use this video for their marketing and advertising for what they want to do. They can have it. And so you're kind of pitching yourself as a production company, but as a creator, as a personal creator. And that's what's happening behind closed doors that not a lot of people are seeing or knowing about. And that's how they're making a full-time living also from doing this online. Even though your online views isn't that much, it doesn't matter sometimes to the brand because it's kind of like an ad for them and you make it and it's like, oh yeah, great, do it. Yeah, sure. And so they're like literally reaching out like 10 or so a week and 40 a month and just reaching out and pitching different things and using their little media kit and using their Instagram and all their content they're making as like proof of like what I done. Doesn't matter that they didn't get the viewership sometimes. It just matters about that you're doing it. And they have examples of work, kind of like a production company. And they say, yeah, sometimes, it's just like anything else. You're going to get a lot of no's and whatever, but I'm seeing these numbers and I'm just like, oh my God, like you guys, and they're also, a lot of them, they're using their phone. They're not even using anything like high production value. It's pretty wild, honestly. I'm sitting there going like, God dang, like this is like, you guys are doing what I'm doing as a production company and you're doing it for your personal brand. And I'm like, I should be doing that as a personal brand. Like, I'm going to do that. And so that's also what I'm working on now. I'm like, I'm going to definitely do that because that also gets you out of the, day to day, out of the personal, out of the local business. You can approach businesses anywhere, which is an amazing thing. And I think I'm like, this is nuts, man. This is a crazy idea. So another way you can use your content marketing and that not a lot of people will see, but it still can get you money, right? And also, again, if you're doing the right things to the right people, then they will see it and you don't need a lot of views to get a good business. Oftentimes, and I've heard this from, I don't got much time left here, but I've heard this from several creators, big time, people who help build like big brands or whatever. And they say that for business purposes, the ones that went viral, they look at their income. They look at their business and how did it affect it. And oftentimes it's not that much. I've heard this several times now, so much so that I'm like, maybe there's some validity in that. And then they look at the ones that were hyper specific. They'd say one got 1 million that went to everybody and the other one got 12,000 views from 1 million. That's crazy. But it's very hyper specific. And that video generated more leads and more business than any other video they had all year. And so they go after these and those are actually better. So it's not just me. It's even the biggest creators you can think of that have businesses on the back end. It's a lot, oftentimes, especially the ones that are teaching the educational stuff. It's the hyper specific ones, not the viral ones that really generate the most income a lot of the times for their business. So pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I'm like, so there's a lot of other ways you can do it. I mean, I barely scratched the surface here, but that's probably enough for now just to give you those kind of two main ones a little bit. But there's tons of ways that you can get business. There's tons of ways you can get leads for your business. But those are probably affiliates and, content marketing strategy are two of the strongest for me. And you can use content marketing strategy in another way besides just, trying to get views. It's just trying to get the right views and then using that as a pitch privately to these companies to get them to say yes to a deal. So hopefully this helps you in some way, shape, or form. My name's Dan Kathman. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.